There you are again. Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today, who was DB Cooper? Who was he? I'm asking y'all. So yeah, DB Cooper. If you don't know the story, quick rundown. DB Cooper was a dude who hijacked a plane, had him land, gas up. He wanted like $200,000 in small bills and 4 parachutes. Got him back in the air, took off in the plane. They were flying, of course. He jumped out the back. He wanted a certain type of plane because a certain type of plane, like I forgot the name of the plane, but it had a door that or stairs that opened up. So, who was this mystery man, and who could pull off something like that? Seems to me like he'd have to. Well, for one, he knows how to parachute. He likes money. But yeah, they said he was like cool as a cucumber. He made a stewardess like he gave her like a little note, like saying, "Hey, I'm hijacking this plane," and she kind of just put it in her. She thought he was like flirting with her, like giving her, like hey, giving him his number or something. So she just put it. He's like, "Hey, now you need to check that out." And he was just smoking. They said he ordered drinks. He was as cool as a cucumber. He's just the who again, man. Crime is weird. Who has the guts to? Who would think of that? Sounds to me like he would be a military dude or something. Like a he had to be. So yeah, he gets on the plane, gives the note. She finally looks at it, so she's like, "Uh-oh." He makes her sit down beside him. He just looks like a regular dude. You know what I mean? Uh, he's got oh yeah, and he's got a briefcase with like a bomb, I guess, and it wasn't even a bomb. Um, So yeah, he's drinking like Jack and Cokes or something, like having smoke. This is when used to be able to smoke on planes. Believe it or not, people were smoking and drink on planes. Um, they used to have like little ashtrays in the arm, a little itty bitty ashtray. Believe it or not, I used to smoke. I've smoked on a plane. How old was I when I? They used to let kids smoke anyway. Uh, so yeah, they kind of know when he did it. So when they got back up in the air, the pilots, the decompression of opening that door, they kind of know the area that he jumped out. And long story short, they didn't catch him. He didn't. Nobody knows who he is. Um, Years later, they found some like rotting money on the bed of like a creek or something. Some kids found it, and it'd been there a while. And but they only found like $5,000. They didn't find it all. So some people think like, dude, he didn't make it. He jumped out. It was raining. It was cold. He didn't have the right clothes on. Uh, and they he fell to his death. Is that what they did again? Did they give him like faulty parachutes? Like, oh, you want 4 parachutes? Okay, here's 4. When he's up there, oh no, you'll never catch me, and he fell to his death into a tree or something. They found something. They would have found like the parachute or how big a parachute is. But no, they claim to have never found anything. And most recently, the MMA fighter Chael Sonnen, he claims he knows who it is. Oh, I know. And how do you? Well, I'm from Oregon. That's where he jumped out. Okay, how many people are? Come on, you're from Oregon. I like Chael Sonnen, but he did it. And go check it out. He claims he knows who DB Cooper is. He won't say who it is. uh, and then he says the FBI came in and talked to him. Like this was like in the when did DB Cooper do this? Was it the 70s, early 70s, late 60s? I should have looked that up before I got online, but oh well. What are you gonna do? So yeah, Chael Sonnen claimed that you can't go around and tell. Oh yeah, I know who's the FBI will show up at your door. Excuse me, we need to speak about. I wonder what he told him. Again, I didn't even watch that video. I just saw that it happened. I need to go back. I'm not prepared. But maybe he does know. Maybe how could they? Okay. If someone like Chilsana knows or figured it out or whatever's going on, how can the FBI not know? They searched I mean, come on. They you think someone would know. You wouldn't want to jump out like over Oregon, that forest. I mean, shit. He was just wearing like regular shoes and a suit. It was cold and rainy. Of course, they think he was ex-military. He had training. I mean, dude, he's a parachute. Was he an instructor? Jumping out of like a 747? And 200,000 seems like a little. That's not enough. If I would you want more money? And in small bills, that's heavy. Did he have to strap it to him on another? What did he do? And then this other guy, they claim that he might have done it. He did the same thing. See, once somebody does something, then you get all these like copycat crimes. And that dude died in like a shootout with the law. You'll never get me. Bam, he's dead. Okay, so let's just say that he did fall to his death. Just bam, splat. But, or was he stuck in a tree? I mean, because there's a lot of places in Oregon. I mean, Oregon's huge, and that the forest, he could be to this day laying up there, nobody'd see him. Is there like an old hunter? Oh, you mean that parachute that's been up in that tree forever? They should. Would they search through that for? I mean, again, it's. So if he did, granted, so the money was on the bank of the creek or river or whatever it was. I think it was a creek. It probably came downstream. So shouldn't they be looking up? But this happened like they found that money in like the 90s or the 80s. It was like 10 years later. Or would you plant the money and make it look like you would? But where's the parachute? I don't know. But do you bury it? You burn it. What do you do? So they finally got around. Like I think it's still an open case. I still think that there's FBI looking for that 200 grand in DB Cooper, and it's not even DB Cooper. Somehow, like the news said DB when it was Dan Cooper. He boarded the plane at Dan Cooper. See, back in the day, you could still drink on planes, but you could smoke. You didn't have to show ID. You just go in there and pay. And hey, what's your name? Dan Cooper. Come on up. Did he want to do a run through? Did he want to practice run? I mean, you just do it. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this, but. And what kind of personality mind you got to do? You're sitting around like, let's see, what should I do? Oh, I know what I'll do. Hijack a plane and take it for a minute. And it's just convoluted. Like, okay, I got to hijack it. Then they got to land, refuel, of course, get me the money, get everybody off the plane except a few people that need, then I'll wait. He told him like what height and where to, he had it planned out. Then open it. You know how crazy it would be out of, fuck. Maybe he didn't make it. Or if he did make it, then is he, what did he do? Like there's been a few suspects and this, but how would you hide that? You'd have to sit on the money for a while. You just couldn't be like, yeah, we're looking for somebody to spend a lot of money. Well, I just bought this house and a car. They'd know. And 200,000 seems a little bit like short. Wouldn't you want more? Or could you carry that much money? I mean, maybe it's smart that he wanted 200 because you couldn't. Would he strap it to himself or another parachute? I don't know. Did he have people helping him? See, because nobody. Again, they didn't find anything. Nobody saw nothing. He's this mystery man. Some people say it was like a military operation, so they would tighten up security at the airplane, and they did. After this happened, they changed the laws. They did this, that, and the other. They maybe, perhaps, But stuff like stories like this kind of fascinate me. I mean, there's people out there. You think that people are, thinking along the same lines. No, there's people out there that are, uh, like I'm thinking, like, what should I cook today? And he's like, I'm gonna hijack a plane. And would he be a quiet person, like not talk to people, like, oh, I'm thinking about hijacking a plane. What do y'all do? Of course, he didn't use his real name, Dan Cooper. And that again, then how a newsman, DB Cooper, now it's DB Cooper. There wasn't even that's weird about like how stuff gets out. Like they make a mistake and then it turns into like legend and lore. Like when JFK, he had his son, JFK Jr., whatever. There was John, they called him John. How that came about was they were interviewing JFK and his son was in the room and he called him John. And when they were tightening up the edit, they edited it too close. So he's on John. And that went out and everybody's like, oh, that's so cute. A little nickname, John. It's like, no, the news, an editing mistake. That just went out. That's it. Everybody's calling him John after that. See how life is? Strange, mysterious world we live in. Little simple human error. And then you get a new nickname, I guess. So that's what happened with Dan Cooper. Some, dipshit reporter. Dan, you say DB? What? That's it. And then that goes over the wire, and then it's that the beginning of the mistakes they made, so they didn't catch that guy? Is that another thing? Is it? See, crime. Then everybody's human. Everybody makes human error. Everybody makes mistakes. But unfortunately, if you're investigating crime, it's hard. You should not make mistakes, but you do. And then you'd probably like, I don't want anybody to know, so I'm gonna. Yeah, everybody's gonna know. They're gonna figure it out. You would think that they would find something, a shoe, or this, that, and the other. So later on, he left behind like this briefcase, a clip-on tie. Part of him, and he so they took this clip-on tie, and now with the new technology, they had this like they were doing DNA, so they have to vacuum it with this machine, whatever it is, this new technology, and they analyzed that, and they found these weird, rare particles that are only from like a factory that makes like expensive jet parts or something. So they're like, well, maybe he worked at and they knew exactly, like, I guess you could like pinpoint what the and then there was a guy, like a suspicious dude that kind of did that kind of work in this airplane factory, I should say. And why would he have a clip-on tie? I mean, if you're wearing a clip-on tie, you don't wear a clip-on tie to like work in a unless you're like upper management or something. Because he was like, they said he was like around 40, DB or Dan or whatever. Let's call him DB. Was he like a floor manager? Was he like the the guy telling everybody, see, go do this. I'm going back to my office, and of course I've got work to do myself. A clip-on tie, or did he borrow that tie? Did he buy it at a garage sale? Who knows? But if you're investigating, if you're the FBI, you got to go through all these things. That's why it might take a little bit of time. You got to do this and that and the other. And oh my God. Do they have his fingerprint? Surely he's left fingerprints. You think his fingerprints would be all over the place? Where he was sitting, he was smoking, he was drinking. Do they have his DNA? Don't they still have that? Can't they do a DNA test and a find out who? Maybe, perhaps, or do they know? Do they know who he is? In the Zodiac Killer, they think, some people think it was Ted Kaczynski, the guy, the Unabomber. He was also the Zodiac. I mean, he was a go-getter. If he was a go-getter. Um, he liked crime. Weird people. People are out there. They're gonna. That's what they do. Let's see. What should my next crime? And you back then, the thing to do was like to taunt the law enforcement and send letters to like, because that's what Zodiac did. Dan didn't do. DB didn't do any of that. Again, he just vanished, jumped out of this plane, never to be seen again. Like, are we going to run across his bones or something? Or have they found? I mean, again, you would find that parachute or parts of it. Did he have help? Did he have flares that people didn't know about in his jacket? So when he's coming down, he just lets off some flares, and he's got guys down there in a truck or a boat or whatever. But then you'd have to split the money up. Or kill the other guy. I don't know. See. And how does Chael Sonnen know that it was who DB Cooper is? I think I'm older than Chael Sonnen. How does he know? You know? Maybe he's right. He goes, I grew up in Oregon. It happened there in Oregon. He was my did he? Because Chael said that he knows DB Cooper's son. DB Cooper Jr., maybe. I don't know. Could be. We should deep dive on Chael. See what he knows. There's a few suspects. Some of them are still alive. And there's been like ex-wives. I know it was him. Or would that what you do? You're pissed off. You're getting a divorce. He's DB Cooper. What? Don't tell me. They're going to be. Because I'd be a drag if you're like accused of something and you didn't do it. Like, dude, I ain't DB Cooper. I don't even like to fly. Never jumped out of a plane. I don't know parachute. Shit. Again. You'd have to be a little I mean, to open that door. You're back there by yourself in this plane. Hit the button. That stair door. It must have been and then the decompression. He must have had his arm around the rail. I don't know. You'd think he'd be sucked out. Maybe that's what happened. Got sucked out, hit the top of the plane, bottom. Who knows? The exhaust. Shit. It's fascinating, to think that people think of these things and then go through it. Like, I'm doing this. I'm that shit. Hey. They changed the regulations when you at airports. You could just walk up if you had the money, not show ID, use a fake name. What's your name? Johnny Cash. Maybe it was easier to do crime back then. They're on all these cameras and this, that, and the other. And I guess detectives had to be a little better because they had to do more like, I guess, legwork, just interviewing people and fingerprinting and shit. Nowadays, that's why I know some of these unsolved crimes, it's like, what are they doing? If you've got every kind of DNA testing and is it human error? Do they just like throw that shit away? They spill coffee on the fingerprint. Dang, we maybe. But if you're out there, DB Cooper, let's have a beer. Let's talk about or did he die in another crime? Again, that other dude, and I forgot his name. I'm sorry. But he, right after that, right on that time, he did the same thing. And he looks like DB Cooper. He's a spitting image of that suspect they had. And then he died in a shootout with the cops. And he was this kind of weird look. He didn't look like a guy that would do a shootout, but man, I guess he was. You just never know. And if he did, again, it might have been a copycat crime. He looked like DB Cooper, the same MO. He did the same thing. Why would they, and then they shot him, the cops. I guess he was shooting at them. So you got to shoot him. That's what a shootout. Why would they not want to? Because it's like, oh no, it wasn't him. Because he was somewhere else or something at the time. Or they just didn't want to look kind of, incompetent. Like we should have known, Could be. It's a strange, mysterious world. There again, people are daring. Should I say brave? I mean, I don't know, stupid, crazy. And he was drinking. Would you need a few drinks? Like, I give me another Jack and Coke. Just keep bringing them. Wouldn't you want to be a little? Wouldn't you want to be sober when you? Or would you need? I need a gut full of bourbon and But he left behind his briefcase, his fake bomb. I mean, wouldn't there be DNA and fingerprints all over that? Couldn't they put that even now in the database and figure out a genealogy or whatever and find out who his family was? And oh, that's him. He moved to Argentina or something. Again, I mean, 200,000 cash, small bills. That's a lot of money in 1971, whenever this happened. That's like the equivalent of maybe $1 million or so, maybe more. It seems to me like it's more planned out. Like, it seems to me that, okay, for one, damn near he's military. He had to have been. He had to have had like paratrooping training and this, that, and the other. Did they give him some fake parachutes, or did they modify him? Like, man, he'll never get away with it. Where did he mess with the pull cart, whatever it was? Is that what they don't want to tell us? They know exactly what happened. He got he just splattered, hit a tree, whatever, and died. And they're like, we can't tell people. We got to, this is, and then they planted the money. I mean, then there's wait for someone to find it. Because there's some suspicious stuff. Even the kids that found that money. It's strange. And again, just because you have like a job in the FBI or whatever it is, doesn't mean that you aren't a criminal yourself. I mean, I'm not pointing the finger, but people are people. You can pass all these psychological testing and yeah, I'm fine, I'll be cool. And then you do, did he know and that for one, that route he jumped out of, why would you not want to jump out? I mean, did he check the weather report? Like, man, it's going to be raining, sleeting. You don't want to be jumping out of a plane, man. Maybe he did. Again, it's like 50-50. He either did or he didn't. It's he either splatted or he is living in Oaxaca or somewhere. Just like, would he still be alive? Because some of those, Joe Sonnen said he knew who he. And again, how would he know? He knows DB Cooper Jr. and he told, I don't shit. Strange. And was he the Zodiac? Again, these people are go-getters. Is it multiple crime? Is it like, I'm bored with the Zodiac stuff. So I think I'll just switch gears and I'll be DB Cooper. And they were thinking that DB Cooper was like a comic book name. There was a comic book named Dan Cooper, The Adventures of, shit. Maybe. So I'm kind of thinking that they gave him some faulty parachutes and he fell to his did they even give him money? Was it fake? Was it counterfeit? The FBI has like a shit ton of counterfeit money. Okay, go to the storeroom. Bring us those that counterfeit money, and it looks really good. He won't know. And supposedly they knew all the numbers on they wrote that shit down, and that's how they tied this money to these kids found years later to the DB Cooper case. Are we due for another crazy crime like that, like a DB Cooper, like just some kind of crazy crime that no, you'd think never could it be, and then nothing. Like he just a mystery man, just fine. I'm not. I'm off to do another crime. Are you like a thrill seeker? See, a lot of these criminals, yeah, they can like calm for about a year or two or three, and then they got to do something again. They need that rush. They're like gamblers. For one, I've never jumped out of a plane. I've never parachuted. I've never wanted to do anything like that. I'm sure it'd be fun if it was safe. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I'd like it here on land. And quite honestly, I used to love to fly when I was younger, and then I had a stranger. I'll probably do a podcast about my flying experience where we had to do an emergency landing, and I no, I thought we were gonna die. We were in this small plane, and I looked over at the dude who's on the aisle, not even an aisle, well, it was an aisle, but he was beside me, and he was in a military, like he was like his dress military, and he had all this, and I was scared for my life, and I look over at him, and he's doing a rosary. I thought, oh shit, if he's scared, then fuck. I got even scareder because I was in one of these small planes where literally there's like two drapes, like the pilots are up there, and they just pull these drapes, and there's maybe like 10 of us on this plane, 15 of it, not that much. And man, when we started going down, the lights were blinking, and they weren't saying anything till I was scared to death. And we landed, and I was, oh my God. The fire department was there, and they had the family. My family was out there waiting, shit. So I don't like to fly anymore. It ruined. I used to love to fly. I used to fly all the time. Now it's like, oh man, flying. Because I went through that experience. I went through thought we were goners. So comment below. What do you think? DB Cooper could it? Should what? Who? Is Chael Sonnen telling the truth? Maybe. It's a weird world. Maybe he did know. He's too young to be DB Cooper, or is he? Is he? Because for one, Chael Sonnen, he's Chael Sonnen. He's a famous UFC fighter. Probably got bank. He's got like a successful podcast. Why would you even want to go down this DB Cooper road? Do you want attention? Is he just fascinated like all the rest of us? Like, could be. If I run into Chael, I'll ask him, hey, easy. And what did the FBI? Did they grill Chael? Like, are they still? Like, you would think he's got a podcast. He needs fodder. He just needs to talk on a podcast. Of course, you're going to talk about stuff. And then the FBI show up? Is that, and that says a lot in the FBI. Like, why would they need to? I guess they're on it. Years, what is it? How long? 50 years, maybe? They're determined. They want to solve this. You think he'd be like, oh, just, hey, it had, whatever. No, they're. And oh, by the way, FBI, I don't know who DB Cooper is, man. I have no idea. Ask Chael Sonnen. Oh, you did? Well, go ask him again. I mean, maybe. Because DB Cooper looks like the sketch of DB Cooper they did looks like the Zodiac Killer, too. Could it be the same? Dun, dun, dun. Because there's all kinds of speculation on who was this, that, and the other. Are there criminal masterminds like that? Because again, there wasn't any cameras, and you didn't have to show ID. You could use fake names and lack security at the airports. And is that what it was? Just some like criminal mind who had a little bit of a, he loved life. He loved excitement. Maybe. Part of me. In my humble opinion, I think he was military. He did that. He knew if you jumped out of a plane, shit. Especially if you like fought in a war, you jump out, land, then you got to go fight. I mean, shit. People were tougher, I guess. Maybe they still do that. I mean, I guess they do. I mean, yeah, but crazy. Don't you think that we'd all be like happy? And no, unfortunately, again, a strange, mysterious world. I guess it takes a village. It takes all kinds of people. Well, look, I rant like a madman every day. You never know what I'm going to rant about. But I love y'all. Comment below what you think. Who DB Cooper? What? Is Chael Sonnen onto something? Are they about to solve this crime? Maybe. But I'll be back tomorrow. I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.